Somewhere out past the last paved road, behind ordinary farm gates in Maine and Michigan and Oklahoma, there are properties where somebody already did the hardest part for you. They brought in the excavators, pushed up walls of earth taller than a house, cut shooting lanes through the pines, and built themselves a private rifle range that most public clubs would envy. And then life happened. Retirement, an estate sale, a move closer to the grandkids. Today, those ranges are sitting on the open market, attached to farmhouses, gun shops, and one suspiciously empty stretch of desert, and every property in this video comes in under $300,000. But the strange part is that the listings almost never advertise it. The best private range in New England was hiding in a land listing with a photo of a gravel road. So today we are hunting down 5 of these properties, walking the berms, checking the backstops, and grading each one on a standardized scorecard. 50 points possible, 1 winner. And the winner comes with a twist I genuinely did not see coming. First, a quick word on why these properties are so hard to find. Because if you have ever searched for one, you already know the pain. Real estate agents are allergic to the phrase shooting range. Some worry it narrows the buyer pool, some worry about liability, and some just do not know what they are looking at. So a professionally built rifle range with engineered berms gets described in the listing as cleared recreational land with earthwork. Earthwork. That is like calling a lighthouse a tall shed with a lamp, which means the person who knows the right search terms has a real edge over everyone scrolling past. On Zillow, there's a keyword box buried in the filters where you can type shooting range and search an entire county at once. On the big rural land portals like LandWatch, the same trick works with words like berm, backstop, and gun range. 12 homes came up matching that keyword in one small California mountain town alone the week we checked. And one more thing before we start spending imaginary money. A berm on the property means nothing if the county says you cannot use it. Rural counties publish shooting ordinances, minimum acreage rules, and sometimes actual maps of where recreational shooting is allowed. The dirt is cheap. The permission is the treasure. Keep that in mind because it is going to decide our winner. Now, if you want a real plan instead of getting burned on your next big unique property buy, scan the QR code and take a look at the Unique Property Buyer's Handbook. It's a step-by-step guide for ordinary people like us. Where to actually find these places, how to spot the hidden flaws that turn a bargain into a money pit, how to finance the stuff banks won't touch, and how to buy it without getting taken. Catching just one hidden flaw pays for the guide 100 times over. Plus the direct links to the government auctions and tax sales most people never find. Links in the description. Property number 1, the Desert Special in 29 Palms, California. We start at the absolute bottom of the market in the Mojave Desert, where a company is selling 5 acres of raw land on Timothy Avenue marketed, and I quote, as your own private 5-acre shooting range and off-roading spot. The price is $12,995 cash, plus a $495 document fee, which on a $13,000 property is a bolder percentage than anything a Manhattan closing attorney has ever attempted. So what do you actually get for the price of a used golf cart? You get dirt. Beautiful sun-blasted creosote and Joshua tree dirt under a sky so big it feels like a rendering error, about 15 minutes from the town of 29 Palms, which happens to sit next to the largest Marine Corps training base in the country. The Marines chose this desert for live fire training on purpose, and their reasoning applies to you too. There is nothing out here to hit. Now, the honest version. There is no berm on this land. There is no range. The shooting range in the listing title is doing the same job as the word cozy in a studio apartment ad. You would be building your own backstop out of that desert dirt, and critically, San Bernardino County publishes maps showing exactly where recreational shooting is and is not allowed, and neighboring parcels have been closing to shooters as the area grows. So your homework costs nothing but matters enormously. Time to grade it. Berm and backstop quality, 1 out of 10, because the backstop is currently a mountain range 4 miles away. Range usefulness, 6, because once you push up a proper berm, you have distance limited only by your ambition and your optic budget. Living situation, 1. There is no water, no power, no septic, no shade, and in July, the ground itself is trying to kill you. Neighbors and noise risk, 9. Value, 8, because $13,000 is less than some people spend on a rifle and glass, and the land under it is real. Total score, 25 out of 50. A canvas, not a painting. But what a cheap canvas. Property number 2, the Farmhouse Range in Saranac, Michigan. Now we drive 2,000 miles northeast to Ionia County, Michigan, into that green corridor of barns and cornfields between Grand Rapids and Lansing, where a 3-bedroom farmhouse is sitting on 3 acres with something wonderful out back. A private shooting and archery range building, 2,400 square feet of dedicated, soft-sided, walk out your back door in your slippers range. And the supporting cast is absurd for the acreage. A 20 by 80 foot pole barn, a 66 by 36 foot barn with a 40 by 36 addition, which is the kind of sentence that makes a certain type of man involuntarily reach for his wallet. Tillable ground for a garden or livestock. Main floor laundry, which the listing mentions with the pride of a family announcing a doctor. This is the property for the person who wants the range as part of a life, not instead of one. You shoot your bow in January inside a heated building while Michigan does horrible things outside. You reload at a proper bench. You walk 30 feet and you are home for dinner. The trade-off is physics. 3 acres is not a rifle property, and an enclosed soft-sided range means pistol distances and archery, not long-range work, so the magnums stay in the safe until deer camp. As for the price, this one is actively listed right now, and asking prices on properties like this move faster than videos do. So the current number and the listing itself are waiting for you in the pinned comment. Scores: berm and backstop, 6, because a purpose-built enclosed range is safer and more private than most backyard dirt piles, though you will want eyes on that backstop material before your first string. Range usefulness, 5. Perfect for pistols and bows. Hopeless for the 1,000-yard dreams we are about to have in a minute. Living situation, 8. A real functioning farmhouse with real barns is more than half these videos ever offer. Neighbors and noise, 6, because 3 acres puts other humans within earshot, though shooting indoors buys you a lot of goodwill. Value, 7. Total, 32 out of 50. The sensible choice. Remember it, because sensible is about to get embarrassed. Property number 3, the 1,000-yard field in Pittsfield, Maine. Half an hour west of Bangor, in a quiet mill town in Somerset County, there is a gravel road that runs past a row of self-storage buildings, through an unlocked gate and out into 72 acres of cleared, high, dry ground looking across at the Dixmont Hills. And laid out across that ground, like something out of a shooter's fever dream, is a dedicated 1,000-yard rifle range. Not a field where you could maybe shoot far. A built range with engineered earthen berms at both ends and additional berms at intervals all the way down the line, so you can work at 200, 500, 800, wherever your load development takes you. The listing price, $135,000, marked down from $149,900. For context, there is exactly one other dedicated 1,000-yard range in all of New England, and that one is just two ridge tops staring at each other across a valley. This is the only one built properly, berm by berm, on private land. And now the detail that separates this property from every backyard dirt pile in America. The town fully permits this range. Read that sentence the way a lawyer would. The single hardest thing to get, the blessing, the paperwork, the legal right to send rifle fire 1,000 yards across your own land, already exists here. Previous owners even leased lane time to private shooters, meaning this property has a history of quietly paying for itself. The catch is that there is no house. There is nothing to live in at all. Power poles run a short way in from Main Street, and the land is cleared but not stumped. So you are building your homestead from the grass up while your rifle range sits there, finished, waiting, mocking your unfinished kitchen. Scores: berm and backstop quality, 9. Professionally shaped, town-inspected earth. Range usefulness, a perfect 10, and it is the first 10 this series has ever given. Living situation, 2. You will be in a camper for a while, and Maine winters have opinions about campers. Neighbors and noise, 8, because the permit converts your biggest legal risk into a piece of paper in a drawer. Value, 10. $135,000 for the best private range in the Northeast is not a price. It is a clerical error. Total score, 39 out of 50. And yes, that is the winner. But hold that thought, because this property has one more card to play, and it is face down until the end of the video. Property number 4, the Gun Shop Homestead in Enid, Oklahoma. Now we go to the wheat country of Garfield County, Oklahoma, north of Enid near the little town of Kremlin, where 20 acres on Lake Helms Road came up for sale, containing what I can only describe as an entire life inside one fence line. A home, a full gun shop with a retail floor, office and inventory room, a training classroom, an indoor 100-foot gun range inside an insulated, climate-controlled building. And outside, 2 more ranges, one at 25 yards and one at 100, plus 2 ponds glinting between them. Somebody did not buy this property. Somebody built it, weekend by weekend, gun show by gun show, over years. The home, the business, the ranges, the ponds where you could hear the geese come in over the wheat in October. And then it all went to auction, the way these places do in farm country, with folding chairs on the lawn and an auctioneer working through a life's inventory at 400 words a minute. Which is exactly why it belongs in this video, because this is how the best range properties in America actually change hands. Not on Zillow. At county auctions, through regional auction houses, announced on plywood signs and in local papers, at prices that would make a coastal buyer assume there was a typo. Now the auction house never published the final hammer price, and I will not invent one for you. But the county assessor did their job, and the parcel record for this property, including what it is valued at and who owns it today, is sitting in Garfield County's public records, where anyone with 90 seconds and a search bar can read it. That skill matters more than this one property, so file it away. Scores, graded as the package stood on auction day. Berm and backstop, 7, with the indoor range doing the heavy lifting. Range usefulness, 9. Indoor, 25 and 100, meaning you can train through an Oklahoma ice storm and 0 hunting rifles in the fall. Living situation, 6, because the home is a 2005 double wide, which is not romantic, but it is warm, dry, and paid for by the time you are done laughing. Neighbors and noise, 8, out where the wheat fields swallow the sound. And value we simply cannot score without a number. So this property finishes at 30 out of 40, the first entry in the history of this series to break the scorecard. Somehow, that feels right for Oklahoma. Property number 5, the berm in the pines near Cross City, Florida. Our last stop is Dixie County, Florida, Old Florida, the part with majestic live oaks and cabbage palms instead of golf carts, less than an hour from the Gulf Coast. 10 acres here came to market with a story you can read in the dirt. The owner dug a pond and instead of paying to haul the spoil away, pushed every bucket of it into a long earthen berm and turned it into a target range. Hostage. That is rural engineering at its finest. One machine, one weekend, 2 amenities. The whole perimeter is fenced. Hunting lanes are already cut through the pines. Wild turkeys walk the property like they pay taxes on it. And, the quietly valuable part, a well and power are already in place, which puts you years ahead of our desert friend from Property 1. When we checked, this parcel was sitting in the under $250,000 bracket on the land portals. And as always, the live number and the listing are in the pinned comment, because Florida land does not wait politely for a video to finish rendering. What you are really buying is a shortcut. The boring, expensive, invisible stuff, water, electricity, fencing, backstop, is done. What is not done is everything you can see in a photograph. There is no house, the berm is homemade and unmarked by any engineer's stamp, so you will want to walk it, probe it, and see how that pond spoil has settled through a few Florida rainy seasons before you trust it with rifle fire. Scores: berm and backstop, 6. Honest work, needs a checkup. Range usefulness, 5, with lanes suited to pistols, shotguns, and 100-yard rifle work rather than long range. Living situation, 4, no house but well and power carry it off the floor. Neighbors and noise, 7, in a county with more pine trees than people. Value, 7. Total, 29 out of 50. The quiet overachiever of the group. So here is the verdict. 5th place, 29 Palms at 25, a $13,000 daydream. 4th, Cross City at 29, the best pre-built foundation for a life. The Oklahoma Gun Shop compound stands aside at 30 out of 40, with an asterisk in our respect. 2nd place, the Saranac farmhouse at 32, the only one you could move into tomorrow. And the winner at 39 out of 50 is the Pittsfield 1,000-yard range. It is not close, and it is not complicated. $135,000 for 72 cleared acres, and the single rarest thing in this entire hobby, a town's written permission to shoot as far as the eye can see. Now for that face-down card. While we were making this video, the Pittsfield listing quietly slipped off the market. And before you close this video in disgust, understand what that actually means, because this is the most useful 60 seconds I can give you. Sold does not mean gone. The moment that deed transferred, the new owner's name landed on the county tax record, sitting in public view forever. Anyone can look up the parcel, find the owner, and send the one letter nobody else on earth thinks to send. Not an offer, a letter. You say you love what they bought, you ask them to keep your number if life ever changes, and you mention that the range leases the last owner ran could just as easily run again with you as a paying customer. People's plans change constantly. Health changes, jobs change, marriages change, and when they do, The only buyer they call is the polite stranger whose letter is still stuck to the refrigerator. Half the properties this channel covers were bought exactly that way, off-market, no bidding war, from an owner who was relieved someone asked. The listing died. Your chance did not. Before we wrap up, one last reminder. The unique Property Buyer's Handbook in the QR code walks you through the whole journey from finding a place to moving in and hands you the direct links to the auctions most people never find. Everything you need to finally own a place that's truly one of a kind. Links in the description. So now I have to know, of these 5, which one would you actually buy? Are you the farmhouse type, bow in the barn and dinner at 6? Or are you standing on that Maine berm at dawn with a cup of coffee, staring down 1,000 yards of your own grass, deciding which target gets to go first? Tell me in the comments and I will see you at the next property.